You're watching Escape Adulthood Live, your number one source for long-lasting, fast-acting, physician-approved adultitis relief.
On this week's show, we're sharing a dream come true and talking with author and speaker Allen Klein about how a little bit of wonder can make a big difference in your life.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening.
And thank you for shenanigating with us. We have a lot of interesting drinks happening tonight.
Yeah, it must be one of those weeks.
I see
we asked people
dirty
what they were
martinis,
drinking.
vodka, whiskey. Hey, this is maybe it's just one of those weeks.
It's a hump day. It's a hump day.
And I see some hot cocoa out there too, Amy.
And tap water. We got the range.
Right?
Big news for us this week. We hinted last week that we were working on a move, and we have officially sold our home in Madison, and we're on the move.
We're on the move, and it was crazy. We had 13 showings in 3 days. Our realtor was amazing, and on Monday, on Ben's birthday, we accepted an offer. So it was a little surreal.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind the last month, 2 months or so. It's been a crazy year, but should we tell people where we're headed?
I think we should. We are staying in Wisconsin, but we are going east.
To a van down by the river.
No, we are going to be moving to Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Sheboygan.
And I have to tell you, Sheboygan shenanigans are ahead. It's happening.
Sheboygan, I didn't know this until about 4 months ago, is the Malibu of the Midwest.
Yes.
It has unbelievable surfing, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it is also the bratwurst capital of the world.
And for those of you who are not familiar with Sheboygan, it's about an hour north of Milwaukee, right on Lake Michigan. And many, we've told a few neighbors because obviously they saw the sign, right? And when we started telling them, we're finding out that a lot of people like Lake Michigan.
Yeah, that's the thing. We the dream come true is that we have been dreaming about and working towards getting a lake home for 20 years, pretty much since the first day we met.
Yeah.
Kind of our first date, we kind of talked about it.
Yeah.
And it's been a long road, but we will officially be living on Lake Michigan on a little raft.
Crazy.
In
a van down by the lake.
We'll have a lot more to share about that. And the story is, wow, I'm kind of blown away that it actually is happening, but
definitely a Corona blessing, and that the details of that will be unfolding very soon.
For sure. So, just wanted to share that news. Like we said, more details to come. But more importantly, this evening, we've got something exciting planned.
Yes.
We have guests on every once in a while, and I saw this gentleman who I've known for a little while has a new book coming out, and it's called The Awe Factor, and I'm talking about Allen Klein, and it is a great book for this time, and we'll have him tell us all about it. But we want to have a little chat with Allen Klein, and you guys are going to love this guy.
Oh my gosh!
Comedian Jerry Lewis,
Jerry Lewis
said that Allen Klein is a noble and vital force watching over the human condition. Klein, aka Mr. Jollytologist, easy for me to say, shows audiences worldwide how to use humor and positivity to deal with life's not so funny stuff. He's an award-winning professional speaker and author of over 30 books, including The Healing Power of Humor, You Can't Ruin My Day, Positive Thoughts for Troubling Times, Embracing Life After Loss, and the new one, The Awe Factor. He's also a TEDx presenter on the power of intention. So let us bring on Mr. Allen Klein.
Yay! Thanks for being here.
How are you today, sir? Thank you for joining us.
Before we start, it's so great. Congratulations on your move and getting your dreams come true, living by the lake. Do you know that song, Mention Me in Sheboygan?
No.
No,
I
but I'm gonna have to look it up.
right.
Something like, it's a very old song. Just mention my name in Sheboygan. It's the greatest little town in the world. Mention my name. Mention my name. I don't know the rest of it.
We'll have to
We're
look it
looking.
up.
We're googling.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Well, thank you for joining us. First, I have to ask you the question: what is a jollytologist?
I made it up.
Yay!
I love that.
But actually, I did go to school. I got a master's degree in therapeutic humor. And the study of humor or laughter in Greek is gelos. So
Ah.
I'm really a gelotologist, but that's like the little wiggly dessert. So I changed it to jollytologist.
Jollytologist. Well, I love the
Very
fact that
fitting.
there's probably, well, I don't know if there's anyone watching this show that would think this, but there's people out there that would be, you can make up your own title. And of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
right?
And you know what's so exciting? I came up with that before the first book. So that was 89, The Healing Power of Humor. So on that cover is Jollytologist. But since then, and you've been or are a member of National Speakers Association, people saw that and they became an enthusiologist, a happyologist, a joyologist, and it went on and on and on. So
Something.
whatever you want to be in this world, just make it up.
I love it. Love it. Trendsetter all along. All right. Well, I think how I first was introduced to you was I had the honor of speaking at the AATH, which for those of you who don't know what that is, the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor, and you're a bigwig in that community. Um, here's what I think would be worth sharing. What is therapeutic humor, and how can people use its power to help them in a year like 2020?
So I would define, I mean, they have their own little definition, but I have mine, which is like, it's an attitude. It's how you see the world, and to consciously look for humor because we know that humor could heal. It lifts us up. Most of all, it gives us a perspective. So while we're going through COVID and life is difficult, there's also the good parts of it and the happier parts of it. And just because there's all the negative doesn't mean there's not the positive. And so we can look for the humor to help lift us up on down days, to help us not be so stressed, because we know that laughter helps us not be so stressed. So very simply, it's like therapeutic humor is like, I think, putting your intention out to find humor every day to help you counteract the news that, life is so terrible.
Yeah.
And you had a second part to the question?
You just well, I know. I think you answered how people can use it to help them in a year like this. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So the way they read my books,
Uh-huh.
The Healing Power of Humor has prescriptive ways of getting more humor in your life, and the awe factor has ways of getting more awe in your life.
Well, that's what we want to talk about tonight. Is this new book, The Awe Factor, and the subtitle is How a Little Bit of Wonder Can Make a Big Difference in Your Life. Now, as I said in the introduction, you've written a million books. Actually, it's not that many, but over 30.
Over 30 is
And
pretty much a million.
The question that has to be asked is, why did you write this book, and why now?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Because I wrote this book because I started looking at my life and I realized there's so much awe in it, and things that, I mean, people, maybe I should define awe. If you look in the dictionary, it says fear. Awe is actually fear and wonder. And you go, wonder, but fear? And if you think about like a thunderstorm, lightning thunderstorm, it is amazing, right? It is awesome. But it's also, there's some fear there. Maybe you'll get hit by lightning. It's so that's really the definition. But I looked at awe in a different way that it's not those big things. It's not the grand lightning and thunderstorm. It's not the Grand Canyon or a double rainbow that, those are more rare. You have to go see it. My thing is that there's all around us. And so I start looking at my own life and thinking, look at all of these things in my life that were so full of awe, so incredible. How could these even happened? Um, Let me just give you one example because this blows me away still. I don't know how this happened, but um, there was a conference here in the city that I went to. I didn't know most of the people because somebody had invited me. And I was having my little cocktail and speaking to other people. And this woman came over and started chatting. And I said, where do you live? And she said, New York. I said, oh, New York? I said, every year I go to New York, and every year I stay at my cousin's apartment. And she passed away a couple of years ago, so I couldn't do that. And then I found another apartment through an acquaintance, and it's already booked, and I have nowhere to stay. And she said, when are you coming? And I said, well, I'm going to be there in May. And she said, what week? And I told her, she said, we're going to be in Italy that week. You could stay at our apartment.
Oh,
And
wow.
I said, what do you charge? And she said, nothing. And here I was, other than my cousin, I was paying to stay there every time.
Huh.
And I have been there like 5 times now,
Oh,
stayed
Oh,
at her apartment.
oh my
And
God.
I thought, first of all, I didn't know this person.
Hmm.
Why did she come? Must have been like 60, 75 people in the room. She was way across the other. She came right to me.
Hmm.
Oh, and I forgot the funny part. She came to me and she said, you look so dapper. You are so cute.
Aw.
And I thought, this is crazy. And then we start chatting. And, I didn't know her. She didn't know me.
Hmm.
I needed a place in New York. I didn't know she had one. I happened to be going the same week that she wasn't going to be there. I mean, is this not an awe?
Right.
that
How did this happen? Kind of knock my socks off moment.
Wow.
So I found in my life, and then when I started interviewing other people, that they had those kind of stories also.
Hmm.
mm,
I love.
But most of us don't honor them, I think, as like awe moments.
yeah, we just kind of chalk them up as coincidences, and maybe
Yeah.
if that, we don't really appreciate how awesome they are. Um,
Right.
yeah, so it's cool. It's what I love is that we talked a little bit before we went live that it feels like this book was kind of made for this year, and as some people watching, it's not you come up with an idea for a book. It's not like it comes out next week. It's a long
Right.
process.
Right.
So, when did you start this? Like, how long ago did you start putting this together, and when did
Well,
you realize
probably
it was meant to
sometime
be?
last year, I gave the idea to my publisher.
Hmm.
And of course, I had to do a proposal. So I put my ideas together, what the book would look like. And there'd be the first part would be like the why awe is important.
Mhm.
What is it? Scientific research. Second part would be the wonderful stories that I hadn't collected yet, but I knew they were going to be awesome. And because my own were, and I knew other people had them too. And then the third part was going to be prescriptive because I want people not only to be inspired by the book, but also to realize that they can get some of this in their own life. And so I always want ideas of how people could do that.
That's great. Do you?
So I would say I don't know, something last fall.
Yeah.
And then I was writing, and turned the book in way before COVID. I was writing, never knowing that this might be the perfect moment. And they decided December 1st, which was yesterday, to publish it.
That's awesome. That's well, that in and of itself is a moment of
That
awe.
is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned about like having prescriptive things, and of course we want people to pick up the book. Is there one prescriptive thing that you'd be willing to share for people watching that's like, how
Yeah.
can I bring more awe into my life?
Let me look at my list here. Since the book's I mean, I've been writing it, but
Right.
once I write it, it kind of goes out of my head.
I know exactly
Uh,
what you're talking about.
yeah, because I move on to the next thing. Well,
Right.
actually, I think the most, because the whole section is stop, look, and listen.
Mm,
So one of them is look.
mm,
And Kim, this I attribute, and I have this story in the book, and I'd like to share it, not just because it's your show, but it really meant a lot to me. Um, I have an TED talk on intention, and Kim did this, which I became a member of, Wonder Hunt.
mhm.
And it was, I think, I don't know how many weeks it ran, like 3 weeks. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
Something like that. And every day you gave us a little like clue to what to look for that day. What was your intention going to be? And then one day it was things with heart shapes and maybe take photos of them. So I had been growing morning glories around the gate of my house, and they were in bloom and they were beautiful. And I came back from walking the dog and I looked at the leaves, and every leaf was a perfect heart shape. And so there was my intention to find them. I found them. But what was so amazing is I had been walking in and out of the gate several times a day, seeing those, and never really saw that they were heart shaped.
Mm,
So, but putting that intention on it. So if people want more awe in their life, put your intention out there. That's what you want.
mhm.
Even be real specific. This is the intention I want to create today. I want to find 5 purple things, or I want to find one thing that knocks my socks off or helps me go wow
Mhm.
that day. So I think intention is like the very first step of finding more awe in your life.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great. That's a great
Beautiful.
tip.
that,
I just had this thought of like waking up tomorrow and saying like I want to see my wow today.
Mhm.
Like what will it be today? Like
Mhm.
kind of like
yeah,
surprise me,
Yep.
right? And you will, right? As soon as you start
yeah,
putting that out,
yeah.
you will.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I have to.
And I have a story to go with that. I find lots of money on the street when I walk my dog. Last year I found $100 bill.
Wow.
Mostly it's pennies or dimes.
Huh.
Somehow this year there's lots of dimes. So one day I thought, well, if I could, if I believe in intention, I want to find a quarter.
Mm.
I don't want a nickel. I don't want a dime. I want a quarter.
Right.
So I walk my dog in the morning, no quarter. I walk my dog in the afternoon, no quarter. But the next morning, there was a quarter in the street.
Mm.
Hmm.
And I told this to a friend, and he started laughing. He said, "You're nutty. That doesn't work." Actually, this was at an AATI conference.
Hmm.
And we're about to leave and say goodbye. The conference is over. And he says, open your hand. And I said, why? And I opened my hand. He put a penny in it. He said, this morning I put the intention out that I want to find a penny, and I found a penny.
Oh, I have goosebumps.
So,
And then you said you got to dream bigger, right? uh, I
yeah,
want.
so that would be my biggie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
That's
Thank you. I
cool.
wanted to share. Jody says the word awesome now has a deeper meaning for me. I will use it with more feeling now. Thank you so much.
Aw.
So that's really cool. And Rachel says Wonder Hunt is awesome. Another
Ah,
person changed by. I know that was a big turning point for her as well. So
that's cool.
one of the other
Yeah.
things I wanted to ask. So you shared some stories, and I want people to know what this book is like. So like I love books that you can read little pieces at a time. That like I write my books kind of like that. You can kind of pick them up and dive in, and you don't you don't have like a wall of text. But yours reminds me a little bit of like Chicken Soup for the Soul books, where there's like little stories, but then there's like you said, the research and stuff like that. But so I want people to know like what a cool book this is. It's so accessible. So I love that, and I appreciate you sharing some of the stories from it. Um,
Yeah, I'm so glad you say that, Jason,
yeah,
because when I'm writing, if I have a big word and I have to look it up in the dictionary, I take it out.
yeah,
Thank you.
I just,
yeah,
I just I want it really accessible. I can show a page. It's really beautifully laid out too. It's like, okay, so
Oh, look at that. Yes.
yep.
there's like, oh, it's hard to see. Um,
There you
Yeah,
go.
there, that's
Yeah,
great,
little
Alan.
yeah,
chunks.
that's so there's little column or and then here's like the next page has a what do they call that? A sidebar. And there at the bottom is another little thing about music, maybe somebody's quote or little story. Um, because that's the way I like books.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well,
So
so many people do not read a book after they read high school, so I
Or read high
figure
school. Yeah.
we need to help them out and make them a
Make
little
it
bit more.
easy,
But
right?
I'm like that too.
right,
So
right,
so we don't want to take too much of your time, but I personally I have to ask you this question. I know you were a scenic designer for Captain Kangaroo, and there are people watching who probably don't know who Captain Kangaroo is, but there are
We do.
those
We
who
do.
do.
Yes.
What
we do.
did that entail, and how did it influence you?
Mm.
What can you tell us about that experience?
Well, it entailed, give you an example if for those that don't know and for you that do know, there was a cast of characters like Bunny Rabbit and Mr. Moose and like that. And so once I did the set, which you could see it on actually on Google Images, there's a couple of pictures of the captain in my set.
Hmm.
But it was so Bunny Rabbit would trick Mr. Green Jeans, for instance, um, to give him carrots. And so I had to design a machine that looked like Bunny Rabbit designed it. And I would think, well, how would a child do this? Well, a child would go and get a cardboard box and go in the kitchen and get a couple of utensils and tie them to the box or it would all be how would a child do this. So I think from then on working on that show I had this like childlike thinking. I would like see the world because I would all for Captain Kangaroo for 10 years I would have to look through my lens through childlike eyes, and so that continued. And I think it was a result of the way I write now. Another book I wrote is Secrets Kids Know and Adults Ought to Learn. So that was all the stuff that kids do that we could learn.
Hmm.
But it was, yeah, really influenced my life, that show of lightening up and seeing the world through a child's eyes, which children, as you know, see the world differently than adults.
Mm.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow, what a gift, Alan, to have that as an influencer, because once you open your mind to that new perspective, you're forever changed by that, It just builds on itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. More joy, more happiness, more play.
Mhm.
I was a very serious child, by the way. I never played. Would
Huh.
you believe it? And my wife actually had this theory that what we don't get in our adulthood, we get in our well, I'm sorry, what we don't get in our childhood, we get in our adulthood.
Hmm.
And so when I look back, I don't know, psychologically how true that is, but when I look back, it's certainly true. I was a very serious child,
Hmm.
and now I'm a very, well, I don't know about very, but I'm a playful adult.
Well, someone commented about your tie being incredible, so I think I can vouch for that. So
When so many people in the comments, it's hard to look at them and have a conversation, but are just raving about Captain Kangaroo and how much.
Oh, wow.
I think I saw Catherine, who lives in New Zealand, said she doesn't know the show, but she knows about kangaroos. So, so
yeah,
how cool is that?
Yeah,
yeah.
when I would speak to younger audience, 30s, people in their 30s, they had no idea who Captain Kangaroo was.
Right.
Right.
Aw.
Yeah,
Um,
I just saw. Oh, I was reading a book about Mr. Rogers recently, and there was a picture of him with, is it Bob? What's his last name? Bob
Bob Keeshan.
Keeshan. That's right.
Okay.
Bob
Oh,
Keeshan. And
yeah.
did you know that he was Clarabelle Clown on the Howdy Doody show?
No, I
Really?
did not know
Oh
that.
my goodness.
That's before he was the captain. Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
Let's see. We got.
So there's a little known fact when you're on that $1 million TV
Yeah.
show where you win
Yeah.
a million,
Right.
Yep.
and that's who was
Right.
Bob Keeshan before he was Captain Kangaroo.
That's
You know the answer.
Aw. Or no, and that could come in handy.
well. Real quick, we got a question from Julie who wants to know. Wonder when Alan switched to being playful. Was there any particular catalyst?
Good question.
It was actually, the basis was Captain Kangaroo, but it was my wife. She was extremely playful.
Hmm.
And in fact, at our wedding, when you cut the cake and you feed each other, she put it on my bald head. um, and we were she passed away, and but we were married when she was passed away. We were married about 11 years, a little under 11 years. And we would always question, why are we still together when our friends would be separating and divorced? And I would always say, because life was an adventure with you. I never knew when I came home if there was she and I she was a gourmet cook, gourmet dinner, or there'd be 25 people for dinner in our house that she forgot to tell me. So life was an adventure. And then she always said, and this is amazing, because I thought I was real serious. And her reason was because I always made her laugh. And that was before I was a jollytologist. So there was something in there way years before I got into the therapeutic humor business.
That's so neat.
Fascinating.
In fact, speaking about awe, I have a photo. I don't have it handy to show you, but it was a Halloween, and she dressed as a Victorian lady, all in black. She almost looks like a Victorian image of death. And I dressed in a white clown costume. And the next year she passed away.
Aww.
And I wasn't into humor then at all.
Huh.
And so that photo, it's really kind of spooky when I look at it, like it's what do you call it when predicting the future, whatever that word is. See, I don't know big words.
Yeah.
I only know little words. It was kind of foretelling the future, which is very kind of strange, but
Interesting.
Wow.
and maybe awesome.
What was your wife's name?
Her name was Ellen, and that was funny because we didn't have internet, we didn't have cell phones, but when someone would call the other phone, they go, "Is Ellen there?" And I thought they said, Alan, and I go, "Yes," and they go, "No, I wanted Ellen," and vice versa. So we thought we really should name our daughter Helen, but we did not.
Probably a good thing.
That's so confusing. Yeah.
Well, we've got Amy here that says, just purchased your book about living after loss for my mom. So
thank you.
making a big difference. Alan, I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. Before we let you go, where can people get the Awe Factor? Where's the best place for them to get it?
Well, any of the online bookstores. There's one bookshop which gives money to local bookstores. So if you like to do that, you can go there. Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. Right now, it may say out of stock, and that could be because it was so popular yesterday when it was selling, or not. But they promised me it'll be in by this Friday. So order now, get it later.
Awesome.
Yay. Wow.
Well, we will be giving a copy of the book away a little bit later in the show. So if you're watching now, stick around because you might get it for free. But Alan, we just thank you so much for all of the work you've done over the years, all of the positivity you've put into the world, all of the humor and laughter, and thank you especially for being with us here tonight.
Yeah. Thank you. I admire your work too.
Thank
Thank you so
Keep up
much.
great work.
Take care.
Bye, Ellen. Oh, wasn't that amazing?
That was good stuff. He is an awesome dude.
Yeah.
I when he was talking, I have to say I was reminded of him saying his wife found something in him and brought something out of him, but it was always there. I was thinking about us because I don't know that I was a very childlike shenanigator. I think it was under the surface because I think you brought it out of me, but it required you to bring it out of me. So
I don't think it took much though. It was surfacing when we met.
perhaps. But
I just feel like we could have all collectively hung out with Alan till midnight. So that was awesome.
Yes. So definitely check out Alan's book, The Awe Factor. I've had a chance to see the advanced copy, and it is tremendous. So please take a look at that.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This is kind of exciting. How many times on this show have we said, because COVID. We should make a shirt. Well, finally,
I was sick of saying I need to make a shirt.
I know. And
so I haven't made a mug.
Yeah,
no. So here's the thing with this whole because COVID thing is, life definitely got turned upside down for everyone here in 2020. We had virtual meetings, mask mandates, toilet paper shortages, all of it because COVID. But even though it's been a rough year, if you look closely, and again, sort of like what Alan was saying about intentionality, you may have noticed good things that have come from an unwelcome pandemic. Things like closer relationships, unexpected blessings, surprising opportunities for growth. All of it because COVID. So this design I put together, also sort of ironic. It might be a little bit hard to see in this image, but the little O has a little growth, little sprout coming up, and the leaf is in the shape of a heart. So that kind of is fitting with what Alan was talking about. But it's sort of an optimistic souvenir for those of you who have a good story to tell about the worst year ever. And we definitely have a number of those. So we have this mug we put out, but we also have T-shirts, a couple different styles of T-shirts.
It's like a unisex shirt, right?
Yes, and they're super soft, you guys. Super soft.
We're super picky about shirts, so if you ever wonder, yes, they're soft.
I did have, of course, as soon as I put this out, Rachel on our team suggested making like baby onesies and bibs with that, which of course now I also have to do. So now take something off the to-do list, add something back on it.
How many babies are here because COVID, though? I mean, come on.
Because COVID.
Let's figure it out.
So if this is something that resonates with you, I hope you check it out. It could be a good gift, again, for people who have a good story to tell about a year that was the worst year ever. So
yes, very cool.
All right, you guys, we're going to do some drawing tonight. This is the time. Get out your crayons, your pencils, your markers, your things to draw with, and your things to draw on. And I'm excited about this because I didn't have a specific theme tonight.
Right.
So I could kind of come up with whatever. So we're going to go with this.
So it could be anything. We have no hints. This is not a hint?
This is not a hint. Because I actually already drew that before, I think, one time.
This is going to be
all right,
crazy.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with like a U shape. Right in the middle here. Okay. Not sure why it gets me so... As soon as I go live, it gets all jittery on me. Okay, so we're going to start with that. Then I'm going to draw a little something there.
It kind of seems like you're starting with the smile, which you never do.
Oh, well, maybe it's a smile, maybe it's not.
I know.
Now I'm going to draw kind of like a long, loose triangle type shape. All right, just like that. And then I'm going to draw a little line at the end, right down here. Okay. And then I'm going to draw some little wavy line here. Just like that. All right.
I have no idea.
Christy says upside down deer.
Yeah.
All right, and then I'm going to draw that same wavy line. Right like that. Okay.
Wendy says narwhal.
Well, it's a good question. Now I'm going to draw, this is going to kind of look a little bit, I don't know how else to explain it, but like kind of like a lightsaber.
Oh, Wendy, were you right?
Kind of like this. Okay.
Lightsaber.
Yeah. I was drawing a practice one earlier, and I'm like, it kind of looks like a lightsaber. I'm going to draw some more lines to divide it up a little bit here. Okay. All right. And now, I guess this is sort of, well, let's do this. Now I'm going to draw I think I come up with these descriptions, kind of like a spiral, just like this. And it doesn't have to be anything exact or perfect, but just draw a little spiral. Okay.
Kara's wondering if it's a swimming unicorn.
Swimming unicorn.
That's a good guess. Yeah.
All right, and then I'm gonna put in
Stephen.
some little eyes.
Stephen says, "Bye, buddy. Hope you find your
Yeah,
father."
There we go. We got a narwhal. However, it's not just any narwhal, because if you pay attention to this show, you know that I don't just draw normal, plain things.
Nope.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color this guy in a little bit and give him a little bit of a gray color.
We actually, Stephen, it's funny you mentioned that because we were saying we might watch that this weekend. It's Elf, with Will Ferrell. So it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Okay, I'm going to give him a little bit of
a narwhal.
A white underside. Okay.
Jenna says he needs a bow tie like Allen's.
That's a good point.
Right.
All right, then they got like little spots sometimes. I put some little spots in here. Okay. Nice. And then the background is a little iceberg. And so I'm going to color this in. My opacity up. And here's a little trick, a little minor trick. So color it in with one level of kind of a light. It's not quite white, because what I'm doing is I'm going to reserve the white for the top. And I'm going to leave the side as it is. So it'll give it a little bit of that light and shadow look. Look a little bit three-dimensional. Wendy
says that it might be Jason Kotecki surfing in the lake by a narwhal.
Could be.
Is that a bodysuit you're wearing?
No, I think I'm trying to decide if I want to pick up surfing now that we're going to the Malibu of the Midwest. I'm almost positive our youngest daughter, Ginny, will be the surfer of the family.
All she wants for Christmas is a skateboard. Like, that's her number one thing on her Christmas list.
She wants a skateboard. Okay, now this is where we're going to get the whimsy. Got to have some whimsy. So I'm going to get an airbrush, a really soft airbrush. All right, this should be fine. And I'm going to get a red color. And I'm going to put a couple red.
What is this?
Red glow. And then we'll do a yellowish color.
Are these like Christmas lights?
It is Christmas lights.
Oh.
And then I'm going to do green. So get some room here.
Aww. He's got Christmas lights on his...
Christmas lights on his...
What is it?
His horn? His gnar? His gnar? I don't know. All right, now here's the fun part. Now this is where it kind of adds the little magic, is you get a little bit of a white, and you make your brush a little bit smaller, And just in the middle,
Oh.
you put in a little bright light. So if you watch Star Wars and you look at the lightsabers, there's like a colored glow around it, and the middle is white.
Oh
And it
man,
just gives
that
you that
like
little-
totally changed that. That's
Right?
crazy. Yeah.
So we got our little narwhal decorated for Christmas. And I'm with
Cute.
Jenna. I think we might need to add a little bow tie
little
here.
Allen
Let's
bow
see if I can
tie.
go back to my my regular round brush.
It kind of reminded me of the bow tie you had for our opening ceremony for the Wonder and Whimsy Society.
Yeah, that cool light up bow tie.
Yes. Where'd that end up? You
It's
still
in my
have that.
office. Oh yeah. Huh?
A light
Special
up.
occasions.
Yeah.
All right, and then I'm going to do is I'm going to get these colors in here because he had really sweet
Yeah,
little
he did.
polka dots. So I'm going to bring these in.
Oh, the same color you're matching?
Sure.
Right.
Tie it all together.
That's so cute.
All right. Now this I cannot wait to see renditions of this
Oh my gosh.
come in and be sent.
That is so cute.
All right, there's our festive narwhal. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, one of my favorite things about doing this is to see what you send us, your versions of it. Let me get up our little, here we go.
Yes,
Send it to
please.
KJ
Send
at
us what you made.
escapeadulthood.com. We love to see your drawings. And, you know, some people are a little bit bashful. They're like, oh, mine isn't very good. And
Adultitis,
nonsense.
right?
It's nonsense. So Christy Ward, we did deer last week with different hats. And so she did one with a Santa hat
Everybody's
on it.
getting
So
in the
that's pretty
mood,
sweet.
right? That's
And
so
I
cute.
think we got another one we have time to share.
Yes.
Kara Tracy did a reindeer. Get it? Get it? Was that last week? The week we did the rain, or was it 2 weeks ago?
We had these little props, the exact hat.
We busted out the special effects budget and had rain on set.
And I believe Kara said that this was the idea might have been Paul's, but she executed it. So there's your teamwork out in Scottsdale.
Executed perfectly. Good teamwork there.
I
So
love it.
please send us your drawings of your festive narwhal this week or any week. We always love to see it. KJ at escapeadulthood.com. Meme of the week.
I love this.
We've all been doing Zoom, and it's funny. You got the Zoom, the profile pic versus how you really look in the meeting. Not like, has it ever been that someone looks better in real life than their profile pic? No, that's never happened.
This is like, there's so many times you look at yourself in a Zoom meeting and you're like, why do I look like the one on the right? Like,
is there a setting? Is there a
like a
glow? Is there
fade
a blur?
or something?
A blur setting I can do?
Man.
That's crazy stuff.
It is crazy stuff.
All right.
Yeah, we have a special thing happening tonight. I have to say, we've been, we've been wishing happy birthday to our Wonder and Whimsy Society members the last few months. We're going on a couple months of having the Wonder and Whimsy Society.
Yes.
I mean, so it's been amazing.
It has
you guys.
probably been the number one Corona blessing of the year for us with the response we've gotten and the feedback and just the fun that we're having in this.
It's just
this
been
group.
amazing getting to know everybody the last few months. So I had a little conversation with someone today, and this is all regarding Brenda Kinnier's 50th birthday. So Brenda,
I hope she's watching.
I know.
It's gonna be
I hope
really
you're
awkward
watching,
if she's not watching.
because today, or not today, but next week, obviously you know this, is your 50th birthday. And that's a big one. That's exciting.
Might want to hold on to that one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
5-0.
So instead of just, saying, hey, happy birthday, I hope it goes great. And I believe it's on Lucy's birthday, the 8th. So it's coming up quick. No, we're going to take this to the next level, because that level of excitement of a birthday has to take it up to the next level. But that's not just it, okay? So I had a phone call today from someone who loves Brenda very, very much.
Captain Kangaroo.
No, not Mr. Green Jeans either. Although maybe he was wearing green jeans. John. And John and I had a really exciting little conversation about how we could surprise Brenda tonight for her 50th. And not only is John kind of behind all of this, but he also is hooking up Brenda with an amazing package of goodies coming her way of Wonder and Whimsy Society awesomeness. So keep your eyes peeled in the mailbox for that, Brenda. But yeah, I think we're gonna do a little happy birthday song for her tonight. Are you ready? Did you bring like a little harmonica or something? The little beep beep beep.
It's as if it would matter.
All right, you ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Everybody now.
Happy birthday, dear Brenda.
Happy birthday to you.
And in our house, we always say, cha-cha-cha, Charmin, Ultra Soft, on sale. Don't ask, it's just part of the crazy.
It's a Kotecki family tradition.
Brenda, you have got one amazing guy there who is looking out for you, trying to make your day special. We're just blessed to be a small part of that. So enjoy your upcoming birthday. And we're so glad you're in the Wonder and Whimsy Society.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we've got, speaking of Wonder and Whimsy Society, we have a member that did something amazing that we want to share with everyone. Right?
Yes. Elle has been sharing these little Eat Dessert First cards that we kind of stuck in the Wonder and Whimsy Society boxes. But you can draw your own Eat Dessert First card, you guys. And what she's been doing is she's been buying treats for her coworkers because they're still showing up at a physical place for work these days. And she'll leave the Eat Dessert First card with the treat and that not like any sort of attachment to who it's from. So then she can kind of watch and see like, oh, look at, they're enjoying it and they're doing, well, the coolest part is, I know, right? Literally. The coolest part is that now people are taking the cards and basically paying it forward. So this picture is from someone who paid it forward. She didn't even do this. She saw this on someone else's desk left from the last person. So talk about, what do they call that? Like domino effect or?
Yeah, some sort of effect. The dessert effect.
The dessert effect. Dessert shenanigans. And how easy is this? Literally, you just write eat dessert first and leave a treat for someone. And you can even do this with your neighbors.
People are looking for permission. If you can be a permission, that's two things we say we are. We are professional reminderers, and we are professional permission granters. It is amazing to me how people want to have shenanigans, but they just need someone to give them permission. And you have that power.
Yes.
And when you take that power, it's like suddenly I have He-Man. By the power of Grayskull, I have the power.
It's like the narwhals.
Some of you know that. Some of you know that. Some of you are like, this guy, what is his problem? 80s. Child of the 80s. What can I say? You have the power. When you take that power, oh my gosh, you never know. It's like you said, the domino effect, the butterfly
effect. And Brenda's on. Yay, Brenda, you're here.
She confirms.
Yay.
Yes, he's great. Good. Thank you, John. So yeah, this is, I love that she shared this with us. I love that she had the initiative to do it, and then it has already snowballed.
Yes,
so,
awesome job,
cool.
Elle. You rock.
So let's see. I think we gave a little bit of a tease. It's time for a giveaway.
Yes, and of course.
That was me cutting off my wife because enough talking already.
Blah blah blah.
She forgot we had a little bumper for that segment.
All right, what you got for questions?
The question today is, what is something weird you used to wonder about as a kid? We're talking about wonder with Allen tonight, and we all have, like, when we were a kid, I think we all have these weird beliefs and weird things we wonder about. Not so much we all probably wondered where babies came from, but we're looking for something like weird. Okay, so put that in there in the comments.
They get the book.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ship you Allen's new book, The Awe Factor. So we'll probably pick a winner after the end of the show so that we can make sure we don't forget about it and get
the
your address and all that kind of stuff.
All right,
But,
so I can't wait to
the
see.
awe
What's something
factor.
weird
Something weird.
you used to wonder as a kid? What's yours?
That's a good question. I wrote the question. I didn't even think of an answer.
I have a lot of things I used to think as a kid that were incorrect, but wonder that. Oh, I used to wonder how close China was. I thought China was behind this road behind our house because it was like so far away.
That close, huh?
I wondered if it was beyond that road or you just. I literally thought China was like within like throwing distance from our house.
Well, I remember we had a ravine and some woods by our house. Not the ones right next to it, but across the street.
Yeah.
And sometimes we would go exploring there, and I always wondered what was at the end, sort of like the book where the sidewalk ends, right?
Yeah.
And one day we went there, and it was so funny because I remember always wondering about what would be the edge and what would be beyond it, and it turned out it was like less than a block away, and it was nothing spectacular, but it was like took courage to like, we're gonna just keep going. But in my head I'm like, this could be a day-long journey. We need to be prepared for this. So I think I got my little Empire Strikes Back lunchbox and packed my provisions for the day, and 10 minutes later was on the other side of the enchanted forest.
Amazing ravine.
Yes.
Aww.
All right, let's see what you guys have coming in here. Rachel says, I used to wonder what celebrities were doing at the exact time as me. I remember thinking, I wonder what Christina Ricci is doing right now. That's funny. Don, where the special air from helium blooms came from.
Right?
That is
I
good.
still wonder that.
That is good. I don't know. When I would meet my first alien.
Oh, when? When could it be?
It's very vague how he words that, because I wonder if he already has.
It does make you. It kind of leads to the next question.
Right. I've got more questions. Helen, I wondered about the little man in my tummy who ground up my food and made noises in my tummy when he had no food to grind. Didn't we all?
I think that's why I'm laughing so hard, because I think everybody wondered that. Oh, that was so good, Helen.
Amy wondered how orange cheese came out of cows. Did they eat oranges?
Yeah, right?
This is a good question. Like, you get
yellow,
orange. These are inquiring minds.
I want to learn more about orange cheese.
Julie wants to know why anyone would walk across the street naked. I thought this was jaywalking.
Naked as a jaybird, right?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Makes sense. Kid logic is the best.
I know.
Is the best.
Right?
Jen says, wondered a lot about the clouds and how weweird it was to be above them in an airplane. They look so thick.
Oh,
I still think that. Like, I still feel like
right.
There's times where remember when we used to go in airplanes and whatnot?
What are you referring to?
And I still feel like, what would it feel like to jump out of a, like, I still feel like you'd bounce.
Like a Care Bear.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't, but it, sometimes it just feels like
I'd
bounce.
Don't try it.
I won't. Brenda, the birthday girl, says if we are just ants to other bigger beings.
Ooh, right.
Good.
That's a good wonder.
Perspective, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the BFG.
Lisa wants to know how Captain Kangaroo fit in her TV.
Lisa, that is a good memory. I have the same memory of thinking, well, how are they all in there? Like at a very young age, trying to figure that out.
Good stuff. Barb, if I could fly with a cape like Mighty Mouse.
Did you try?
Yep.
That's a good question. Off the couch.
Lisa follows up. He waved at me after I waved at him once, and no one could convince me that it was just a coincidence.
Oh, that is classic.
It reminds me of a Romper Room when the lady would look and she said, I see John and Bobby and Karen and Sally, and you'd just be waiting for your name to be called, and you'd be like, oh, she saw me! She saw me! It's amazing! So, I see Sharon and Lisa and Mike
we
and
see
Paul and Brenda and Jen. I see you.
And Steven and Jenna.
Now it just got creepy. All right, a couple more. Mike says, once I saw my mom making deviled eggs and I asked her what she did with the other half of the egg.
That's good.
Scott wants to know, how did lint get into my belly button?
Oh,
Good question.
that's a really good
Good
question.
What else? Joy, if skunks were in the bushes with our basketball after dark, or if it was still crackling from the ball falling in. Kids.
I know. Especially outdoor questions of nature are always hilarious, right?
Victoria wondered how roller coasters knew how to stop at the end.
I do wonder that still.
All right, you guys, keep those
So
coming in. We'll
good.
pick a winner at the end. Thank you for playing with us.
These questions kind of remind me of what we talked about with Allen when he was working for Captain Kangaroo Show, which is once you start opening your brain to these types of memories, doesn't it just start flooding? Like that TV thing, Lisa. I hadn't thought about that in decades of how I used to think they were really in there.
Yeah, it's funny. What a wonderful world the world is to kids. And
right. Everything's
ironically,
new and awesome.
if you keep that attitude, you can keep it going, because as you become an adult, there's more stuff you learn. It's like one of those things like, I have more questions, right? The more you learn, the more questions you have, but you have to keep that attitude going. So, all right, you guys. Well, we talked about at the beginning of the show that we are on the move. We're moving to Sheboygan. It is official. We will be there in January. And this week's Insider that's coming up Sunday tells a little bit about the story and the process. A little bit more of like the deeper, higher level thing that at least I went through, and kind of the journey. So I'm excited to share that. I'm a little freaked out to share it, but it kind of feels like it's meant to be shared to give other people encouragement, hopefully. So if you are an insider, if you get our weekly Adultitis Fighter Insider, look for that this Sunday morning. If not, we invite you to join us. Join this merry band of Adultitis Fighters. Sign up for free at escapeadulthood.com/insider.
We forgot to mention that Doreen Breschershine
was
last week's winner of the Frankly My Dear print. So I have that on my desk, Doreen. We'll be getting that out to you very soon. But this was a great show, you guys. I love it when we have guests. Wasn't Allen just delightful?
Allen was awesome. Again, check out his book, The Awe Factor, at allenklein.com or wherever books are sold. Anything else?
Where are they sold?
Anything else you want to say there, Kim?
No, I'm excited that you know him now if you didn't before, because he's just a really, really good person to know.
Indeed. Well, that is it for today's show. Until next time, Adultitis Fighters.
Shine on, spread whimsy, and be awesome.
And a special shout out to our boy Ben, who just turned 9.